What's up guys, Ivan Carranza here, and I'm about to catch a train to leave for a rehearsal weekend with Doctor Krapula, the band from Colombia that I'm gonna be doing a summer tour with. So this is just a quick notice to let you know that the vlog is back. I'm gonna document the whole thing, rehearsals, playing, traveling, and so on. I'm gonna show you what I'm be taking with me gear-wise on stage. I'm gonna film some of the performances and so on. So I'm just gonna show you quickly right now what I'm taking with me. Now here you can see I've got my gig bag. That is my G&L Matador inside the double P bass. Then I have my quad Cortex with me. This is gonna be the first time that I use it outside of recording, and I'm just taking a backpack, a Dingwall backpack. It's a pretty awesome backpack, by the way, with clothes and things that I need for the weekend. So that's all I'm taking. I'm really looking forward to testing the quad Cortex in a band setting with other people and also live. So I'm gonna comment on that as well. But I gotta leave, so I'll catch you guys on the road. So now I am back home after the rehearsal weekend and everything worked fairly well, I have to say. I am pretty pleased with how the quad Cortex performed. All the patches, all the scene changes that I made here at home worked great during the rehearsals. There was only one moment where I had to think a little bit how to arrange things, and that was when the band asked me to, if possible, add some reverb and delay for an atmospheric intro. And there are several ways on how you can, send your signal and where you place all the effects. So I have to think a little bit, okay, how am I going to do this? Because I have a send that goes to my amp, but I also needed to go to front of house. So I had to think a little bit there, but it didn't take me that long. And, copying scenes and presets is fairly simple with the quad Cortex. You just press and hold one button and it copies it, and you can just paste it to some other location and just turn on and off switch or effects that you want to keep or not. So very user-friendly. I'm pretty happy. Like I said, all the sounds were spot on. I'm really curious to see how it sounds live and if I'm gonna have to make some changes, because live you might not want as much top end, or maybe the low end is a bit boomy depending on the room, so I'm gonna have to adjust and tweak a little bit maybe. But so far I'm pretty happy, and the guys in the band were also pretty happy with the sound. I had for the rehearsals can't speak for the rehearsals a Fender Bassman with an 8x10 cabinet, and I just plugged directly into it with the send of my quad Cortex, and I'm going to show you what I used in a second, and everything went fairly well. The only thing that definitely annoys me, and I really don't understand why Neural DSP didn't go with something different is that the power supply, this thing, let me try to focus it. I can't. Not focusing. But the power supply is really, really fancy, and it got pulled out of the quad Cortex, I think twice or 3 times, and just by somebody walking and by accident moving the cable. So it's not very, when you put it in the power supply socket, it does not get stuck there, so it's easy to pull out. And I don't understand why they didn't go with a real, power supply cable that, for example, your amplifier has, or my Noble DI. Those are a lot more solid. I don't know if it's a matter of having enough place on the unit, or maybe they wanted it to be pedalboard friendly, and they didn't want people to have to bring need 2 different sockets to power the unit. But I'm gonna have to put tape on the floor, on the cable definitely, because otherwise I'm gonna risk somebody maybe walking and unplugging my unit mid-show, which I definitely don't want happening. So that's my only critique at the moment so far. Other than that, everything worked great, and I'm looking forward to using it live and also to let you guys know how it went. So I'm going to show you how I programmed the unit, and then I'm going to keep the vlog going. We're playing on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so 3 shows in a row. So I'm going to be able to comment more on the performance after the shows, or after the first couple of shows. But now let's check out what I programmed here. This is the preset that I made, and I made it per bass. I also have one for my Super P, but this one I have to tweak still because I changed a couple of things during the rehearsal. Nothing major, but let me walk you through what we have here. So if I open up the gig panel, you can see I have a main reggae sound, a main rock sound, rock drive, and reggae verb. These are the sounds that I have pretty much always on during the show, and the most used one is the A preset, the main reggae sound. That one I roll off the tone control and it's just really deep and full. But if I open up the tone control, I still have some clarity, so I can use that as a, let's say, neutral sound. Then below that I have the same sound but with an octave below, and then I have the rock sound. That one has a bit more mids, a bit more top end, and then the same sound below it with an octave. And the third sound, that is the B sound, the rock sound, but with some real, overdrive to just, punch things a little bit harder during some sections. And also the same sound with the octave. I still have to rename it, I notice. And for one song, I had to, sorry, I went back to the wrong preset. For one song, I had to add some reverb and delay because there's an atmospheric intro, so I added some of that. That's why I had to redo my preset. But this is the signal chain, so pretty much right now all the blocks are turned off with the exception of the amp, which is an Ampeg SVT sim. Then I go into a send block because that allows me to send the signal to my amp without duplicating the cabinet. So I'm sending that to my cabinet. Then it goes into the cabinet block here. Then I have some compression, nothing really major, just to even things out between all the presets or the scenes. And then some slight low pass and high pass filters. I'm low passing at 33 Hertz and at 10K for the, sorry, I'm high passing at 33 Hertz and low passing at 10K. That is the main reggae sound. So I'm not doing much EQ wise. I have the gain fairly low. The master is at noon. Some bass boost there. And that already gives me a really deep and punchy sound. I don't need to do much else, and it worked great during the rehearsals. Now, if I kick in the octave below, then you can see this one turning yellow. That is the octave. And I have it at 50% and the dry signal at 100. That gives it some more oomph below. For the rock sound, I still keeping the same amp, you know, nothing turns on and off here. It's the same signal, the same devices. But let me show you, if I press the reggae sound, you can see the knobs turning. You can see mainly the treble is moving. So I boosted a little bit more treble and a tiny bit more gain. Nothing crazy. 0.5. Just a little bit to give it a bit more grit. And the same thing but with the octave, you know, with the patch below it. For the drive though, I did pull back on the treble a bit because it was getting a bit harsh with the drive. And here I'm using a simulation of the Microtubes Vintage. I have the drive pushed quite high and a low level and blend at about 50%. That way I still retain a lot of my original signal, but the drive is there to make the bass sound wider, and it worked great during the rehearsals. I'm curious to see how it sounds live, because usually I don't boost that much drive, but keeping the level and the blend that way allowed me to keep an even balance of low end and the bite of the overdrive, so that I don't lose low end when kicking in the drive. Then, like I said, the same thing but with the octave below. And then the reverb, I have here a tape delay and also some large ambience reverb just for one intro of a song, but that's, you know, I use it once in the show, but the guys wanted me to do some atmospheric stuff, so I put it in there. And that's pretty much it. It's not a lot of things going on. It's just a regular pedal board, with the exception that I'm just sending the signal back to my amp. And then with this output, I'm going to front of house with the XLR. So basic setup, nothing major, but it allows me to have everything in just one unit, you know? I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the content that's coming to the channel. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.